I don't mean the sort of cliche idea of literacy is power. Like, if I'm literate, then I'm powerful. I don't mean that so much as literacy, the tools of literacy are often, the term is used, co-opted to not only maintain status quo relations of power, but to also deconstruct and reconstruct status quo relations of power. And some people see literacy as entirely that. So, entirely embedded in that concept of power. So, one of my favorite ways of thinking about that is when you think about literacy at the early levels, what aspects of becoming literate, and it goes to this idea of lots of different angles on this, and you can come up with them in a minute because you've been coming up with them all night. In what ways does becoming literate in our socio-culturally embedded classroom environments maintain and reproduce, as well as teach how to use those tools to reconstruct relations of power as more equitable? So, for example, let's say I read a book, and some of you have heard this before because I use the same things over and over, but let's say let's just pick any example of a book you could read at the early levels. A way of seeing this is if you go into a second grade classroom and you start asking lots of questions, you find out how deeply entrenched kids already are in inequitable ways of viewing and treating each other. And a lot of it is connected to what they've been reading and have been having told to them and been having read to them. So one example would be old people, frail. Like if you go in and you ask, tell me everything you know about old women. Carry a cane, have wrinkles, missing teeth, have...
Same hairdos.
You've already got this video before. I've done this before.
No, that's not fair. I waited so many classes for this. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, so I'm repeating myself from a class that I'm pretty sure Megan has had. Maybe some of the other... Have you already heard me talk about this?
Just
Many
a little.
times.
You're doing it better now than that last time.
It's
true.
The pressure's on.
She's scaffolding me.
Keep going.
Okay, so if you ask kids their prior knowledge,